Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're being part of my conversation with Chef Geechee Rome. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In Mississippi news, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves explains why Mississippi ranks 42nd in vaccinations. Governor Tate Reeves spent some of Easter Sunday on CNN's State of the Union. He addressed a number of issues, which include COVID-19 and infrastructure. Mississippi ranks 42nd in vaccinations per capita. Reeves told CNN's Jake Tapper that the solution is education. We need to educate folks. We need to make sure that we educate our people and let them know that this vaccine is safe, and while it is under an emergency use authorization, it has gone through clinical trials with literally tens of thousands of individuals, said Reeves. Reeves said that he and his family have received their shot as a way to encourage others in the state to do the same. I was able to see my grandmother recently for the first time in a year on her 90th birthday, and so the vaccine is our path towards normalcy, Reeves said. Reeves was asked by Tapper about the potential for vaccine passports, which would allow Americans to prove that they were fully vaccinated. So you think private businesses should be banned from requiring vaccine? What's your take on this? I don't support vaccine passports. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it is a good thing to do in America, said Reeves. About 535,000 Mississippians have been vaccinated, and at least 800,000 people have received at least one dose of the shot. Reeves also addressed President Joe Biden's $2 trillion infrastructure plan in the interview. He said that he is opposed to the plan despite Mississippi's aging infrastructure. In national news, police chief says kneeling on Floyd's neck violated policy. The Minneapolis police chief testified Monday that now-fired Officer Derek Chauvin violated departmental policy in pinning his knee on George Floyd's neck and keeping him down after Floyd had stopped resisting and was in distress. Continuing to kneel on Floyd's neck once he was handcuffed behind his back and lying on his stomach was in no way, shape, or form part of department policy or training, and it is certainly not part of our ethics or our values, said the police chief on Monday. The chief fired Chauvin and 3 other officers the day after Floyd's death last May, and in June called it murder. His testimony came after the emergency room doctor who pronounced Floyd dead testified that he theorized at the time that Floyd's heart most likely stopped because of a lack of oxygen. The doctor said Floyd's heart had stopped by the time he arrived at the hospital. The doctor said that he was not told of any efforts at the scene by bystanders or police to resuscitate Floyd, but that paramedics told him they had tried for about 30 minutes. In more national news, after new law, McConnell warned CEOs, stay out of politics. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says it's a big lie to call the new voting law in Georgia racist, and he warned big business to stay out of politics after major corporations and even Major League Baseball distance themselves from the state amid vast public pressure. McConnell particularly slammed President Joe Biden's criticism that the Georgia bill was restrictive and a return to Jim Crow-era restrictions in the southern states aimed at limiting ballot access for black Americans. It's simply not true, McConnell told reporters on Monday. The choice by the GOP leader to dive into voting politics lent heft to efforts nationwide to install strict new voting laws after Donald Trump's false claims of fraud that cost him the election to Biden. The new laws are aimed at scaling back early voting and other options that became widely popular during the pandemic. Even more, McConnell's warning to big business not to get involved shows the scramble Republicans face as progressive groups are shining a spotlight on corporate America to live up to its brands and values as Congress takes on voting rights, gun violence, and other issues Republicans have resisted. In business news, stocks closed broadly higher following big job gains in March. Stocks closed broadly higher on Wall Street Monday as the economy showed more signs that it's continuing to recover. The S&P 500 rose 1.4% to another record high. The gains came after the government reported last week that employers went on a hiring spree in March, adding 916,000 jobs, the most since August of last year. And finally, in entertainment news, Trial of the Chicago 7 takes top honors at SAG Awards. The starry cast of Aaron Sorkin's 1960s courtroom drama, The Trial of the Chicago 7, took the top prize on Sunday at a virtual Screen Actors Guild Awards, where actors of color for the first time swept the individual film awards. The 27 SAG Awards, presented by the Hollywood Actors Guild, were a muted affair, and not just because the red carpet-less ceremony was condensed to a pre-recorded, Zoom-heavy 1-hour broadcast on TBS and TNT. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. All the answers are within you. Many of you seek answers to life questions by looking outside of yourself. You give yourself reasons why you can't have the life you desire. You give other people excuses and reasons for mistreating you or letting you down. Trusting your knowings, God's voice, your inner wisdom, may be awkward at first, particularly if you grew up around people who taught you to always look to others for your own answers. All of us have exclusive access to our inner knowing, to the voice of God. The only thing you have to do is listen. Be patient as you relearn to hear, receive, understand your internal guidance system. When you trust yourself for all your answers, you will instinctively know what is right for you. Today, know the answers you seek can be found by answering your own questions. And remember, enjoy the day.
Chef Geechee Rome is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Chef Geechee Rome joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his passion for food and what it's been like for him to share that with the world. Here's a bit of our conversation. I mean, everyone, I think, has a passion for something. When did you first realize your own passion for cooking and for food?
Well, it was a few events that led me down this culinary journey, but one in particular was I lost a very close friend and classmate. Her name was Emily Body. The day before her repast, I prepared a personal dish, just a personal meal for myself. In the midst of me eating it there at the repast, I had a couple of classmates say, hey, what you eating, man? Like, what is this? Who made this? They couldn't believe that it was me actually doing the cooking. So after I got them to realize that I was the one who made it, I mean, they were inclined to try it. They wanted me to bring some. They asked my price. I just threw a ticket on it, and before you knew it, I mean, I had them posting pictures on Facebook, social media, all social media platforms, shouting me out, saying how delicious the food was. And I mean, I immediately knew that at that point, that's what I should be doing.
Yeah. Had it been a history in your family then, Chef, for people who were business owners or at least entrepreneurs?
Well, I think in every urban neighborhood, you always had that candy lady in the actual neighborhood. And my grandma, she was that person. So like as a child, she kind of instilled that entrepreneurship in myself.
Gotcha. And have you always believed that you could do it? I mean, it's one thing to be around it, but did you always believe in yourself that if you wanted to do this, you could make it happen?
Right. I've always believed in myself, but, during the course of your life, you don't really know what it is that you're going to be doing. Because a lot of times, well, the saying is, if you want to see God laugh, then tell him your plan. So a lot of times, we set out to do something, and then in the course of our life, as we grow older and mature, we find a love for something totally different than what we thought that we loved as a teenager. So I had the typical rap dreams coming up, and they were detoured by my passion for cooking later on in life.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back with you guys on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.